Hello, everybody, and welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Kaizen Spotlight, where we have these wonderful conversations with Kaizen champions. And joining me today is a lady who not only has a fantastic smile, but she puts brilliant smiles on a lot of people. And welcome, Dr. Amy. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Buddy, for having me and to the Kaizen world.
Thank you very much. So, Dr. Amy, a phenomenal personality. She is, of course, a dentist, a very, very well acclaimed dentist operating in Nigeria. She did her, dental sciences from France and came back to her home country, Nigeria, and of course started practicing as a dentist. And about 10 years ago, she decided to start Smile 360,
Yes.
which is a phenomenal, new practice. It has two branches, one in Lagos, one in Abuja. There are about 40 team members, and put together, they are working very hard to put smiles on people. And she's been a very passionate driver, adopter, a torchbearer of Kaizen practices in the dental practice. And today, in conversation, is this lady. And thank you, ma'am. And my first question to you is at a very personal level. Let's not talk about dentistry right now. What strikes you about Kaizen? What appeals to you?
Well, the part that appeals to me about Kaizen is the fact that it's people focused.
Mm-hmm.
That it's all about people. And this is something that I've learned at my own detriment to know that you can't grow without taking care of your people. So Kaizen has reinforced that. And I've seen people around me being so motivated, taking things to a level that I never thought I could reach just by empowering each one. So Kaizen, being about people, is for me the one thing that has challenged my goals.
Absolutely. And in a service industry, in a dental practice like yours, people is so important because it is your people who provide the service and they put the smile on your patients. So can you tell me, my natural next question of mine would be, how has Kaizen impacted your people? In turn, how has it impacted customer service?
All right, Kaizen impacted my people in the sense that they're taking more responsibility. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
they understand also how things are breaking down. Like as I speak to you, I have some of this job breakdown, the various steps, the key points. So at the end of the day, they were able to make more impact on others, but because they knew what is required of them, because it's all broken down, they understand, they live by it, and it's easy for them to now deliver that service and also make sure that it is replicatable and it's sustainable. So whoever comes at that position knows exactly what to do because we actually broke down every single step of their service.
Standardization.
Correct.
And standardization is the first step of Kaizen because the moment you standardize, you at least know what needs to be done. And when you start, following the standards, you get some standard outputs. But when you don't get the expected outputs, then you know that a standard has not been followed. So then you go and either fix the standard or you follow the standard. So very good. Thank you very much for that. Doctor, another question that I would like to ask you is, you have been a dentist, a doctor for 20 years. You practiced for a long time. And what prompted you, what triggered you to look at this, this approach of continual improvement, continual quality improvement, and bring it to your practice? What were the, what was the prompt?
All right, for me, definitely creating Smile 360 after working as a consultant where it was just me and myself, and creating Smile 360 where over a period of about 7 years, we've been awarded the best dental service provider in Nigeria.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times in a row. And I thought to myself, what's the next level? How do we make sure that we keep that momentum and, also just like any recipe, know what is that recipe that made us, took us to that level. So it's really about something that is aligned with our purpose, being the best dental service provider, but we don't measure our success through our revenue or production. We measure it through how organized we are. So KAIZEN really helped us to keep that momentum going, and who knows, getting even more awards. But now we know that we're giving those awards to ourselves because we see the difference within the organization.
Fantastic. Very well said, ma'am. So can you share some of the changes or the impact that has been, that the team has seen or created? Can you share some insights, please?
The biggest impact has really been, because we are people focused in terms of the people in the organization, but also our patients. The biggest impact has been in our patients' experience.
Okay.
Because we realize that in as much as people don't like the dentist, or those who like the dentist, the bottom line is don't waste their time. Especially in Lagos, it's crowded, we have traffic. So when people come, they want to be seen on time. So our turnaround time has been the biggest aspect that we really kept an eye on, by knowing at which point, is it at the waiting room? Is it at the parking? Is it at the treatment on the chair time? Or is it when they're actually checking out to pay their bills? We realized that the biggest part was when they were paying, that they were wasting so much time, So once we looked at it, in a week, we were able to cut that down by half and increase the patient experience. It was almost like instant. And that was really memorable.
Fantastic. That brought a lot of smiles.
100%.
Both on the staff, I'm sure, people who man the counter, payment counter, and also, of course, the patients who come in. Ma'am, two things that really is a fantastic combination. One is, of course, you're a doctor, you're a woman, a lady doctor, and a KAIZEN champion. So, what has been your challenge? Okay, of course, you talked about some successes. What has been the challenge in driving excellence in the healthcare practice that you have, dental healthcare practice? And so that this is very important for other doctors and other healthcare institutions. What challenges have you been seeing? Do you continue witnessing? And how have you been able to tackle with it?
And this is a great question. For me, the challenge will be with other member of staff that are healthcare practitioners. Yeah. Knowing that, of course, none of this was taught to us in the dental school or medical school. And we are the leaders in this organization, and we assume that we know best, and we know more than anyone. So the challenge has been to get the leaders, the doctors, to be able to buy into the KAIZEN or organization principles, where we actually need to know our KPIs, know what are the areas, breaking down really all these things. And it was a challenge to get them to say, you know what? We are in the healthcare sector, but we are just like any organization. We need to know our KPIs. We need to know what are the drivers of our revenue. So health with sustainability should take us to, will take us to that growth that we're all looking for. So it's the mindset of the healthcare practitioners that I believe.
Very well said. Very well said. Very correct, ma'am. And as you correctly said, all dental schools, in fact, not only why dental, even if you take a chartered accountant, for example, all of them are taught what I call as the domain knowledge. But there is another very important knowledge, which is about management principles, about improvement principles, about standardization principles. And whether you run a dental practice or a law practice, all of you have to deal with customers. All of us have to deal with challenges. And I think you said it very correctly, making sure that the mindset and the mind is open to the new things. I think that's very important. That's a very big challenge. And if you overcome that challenge, there's a lot of fun in the journey. Just two more quick, reflections. Then I'll be letting you go. I know you have, patients waiting for you. Um, is there a message you would like to give, especially coming from a lady, coming from a professional, a doctor, for our ladies, our colleagues? What about Kaizen? Because I personally believe, let me tell you why I say this. I personally believe that women are more naturally prone for Kaizen. This is what I believe. Because Kaizen is about eliminating waste, it's about constantly thinking of making things better. And I think women folk have this natural inborn tendency to stretch the dollar, to see how they can improvise, whether it's when they're cooking or managing their work or managing their household affairs, whatever. So I think they are just a little more, sort of naturally, they have some kind of a DNA, you know. So, what any message that you would like to give for the ladies, for the women folk?
Thank you. So for the ladies in the Kaizen world, I started by talking about how, yes, yay, thumbs up to the ladies, yes. In the Kaizen world, I started talking about the recipe. For me, I see it as a cooking, all right? If I do a nice pot of soup, I need to know what, and it's appreciated, what's that recipe, that made it work. So yes, we know how to do this beautiful pot of soups. We know what goes in, but it could be that the following day, that soup doesn't taste so nice. So what I have to say to the ladies is, yes, we have that advantage of being able to multitask, being able to go into more details, and being able to accept more than the men, I think, challenges and look at problems and be able to confront problems. I think ladies also have that little edge. But let's not get comfortable. Let's know what is that recipe and put a name to it so that we can sustain that beautiful pot of soup and ensure that it's appreciated every single day. So that is really my message here.
Very inspiring, man. Very, very
I love
inspiring message. And ultimately, I think all of us want to create that broth, that magic potion. And it's very important that, we bring some standardization in the magic. When we talk of a magical experience for your customers, it can only come through standardization and continuous improvement. We can't leave it to chance. We can't leave it to just passionate people. I think I would prefer somebody who follows standards than just a very passionate person who could have a bad day one day and lose his passion. So standardization and continuous improvement. So thank you very much, ma'am, for your time. And as I mentioned, the Kaizen Spotlight is these wonderful little nuggets, conversations that we have with people like you. We will probably catch you again after 6 months to get an update, second version, updated version of this. And I'm sure you will give us your time.
My pleasure. Look forward to sharing that beautiful pot of soup with everyone else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.